Now, welcome to the show. Welcome again. Last week, Kenyans went to the polls. Kenya went to the polls. And I want to thank God that the polls were so much successful. We had peace, We had peace at the polls. Yeah, we had peace. And just before the polls, Kenyans surveyed said they feared there could be election violence, They said they feared there could be election violence. And on hearing that, violence came out and said it feared there could be Kenyans, It said it feared there could be Kenyans. Now, this is how we got peace, because the two stayed from each other. The two stayed from each other. So that's how we got peace. Yeah, that's how we got peace. That's how we got peace. Accusations and counter-accusations flying around, Accusation and counter-accusations. And one that I liked was this. Uhuru Kenyatta was accused of using too much money to win the presidential election. He was accused of using too much money to win the presidential election. On the other side, Prime Minister Raila Odinga was accused of not using any money, not using any of his money to win the election. Yeah. And as it turned out, the accusations were actually true. They were true. Because sources close to Prime Minister Raila Odinga says he actually admits the polls were free but not fair. Free but not fair. Free because he never used any of his money, and fair because he lost. On the other side, because they're close to Deputy Prime Minister Uhuru Kenyatta says he admits the polls were actually not free but fair. Not free because he used a lot of money, but fair because he won, So any way you want to look at it, the elections were free and fair. Free for Raila and fair for Uhuru. That's it, Balance, they're balanced, that's it. And still on the elections, sad news indeed. We lost the former ECK chairman, Samuel Kivuti. Yeah, we lost him some time before the election. Sad news indeed. May the Lord rest his soul in peace. May the Lord rest his soul in peace, yeah. May the Lord rest his soul in peace, yeah. And still on the elections, actually. Coming a distant third was Deputy Prime Minister Musalia Mudavadi. Coming a distant third was Deputy Prime Minister Musalia Mudavadi. And the other day Musalia just came out and said that he was ready to work with Uhuru. Yeah, that's what he said. He said he was ready to work with Uhuru. I don't know about you, but I think he missed the point. I think what he meant to say was he was ready to work for Uhuru. Yeah, that's what losers do. They work for, they don't work with. Exactly, yeah. And Musalia Mudavadi actually even lost in his own backyard, He lost in his own backyard. That's Western Province. And I think there's a comparison here, because I think Mudavadi is an Arsenal fan, They're used to losing in their own backyard. All the time, it happens all the time, yeah, it happens. And at a polling station where his deputy cast his vote, at a polling station where his deputy cast his vote, Musalia Mudavadi actually ended up getting a 0, He ended up getting a 0. And pressed to explain why that happened, his deputy, Jeremiah Kioni, explained, and this is what he said. He said he put a tick for Mudavadi and then proceeded to put an X for the 7 remaining candidates. That's how he voted. That's how he voted. That's how he voted. So if you were looking for an explanation why Mudavadi got a 0, there it is. He's a passionate voter. He's a passionate voter. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And still on the election, talking of the elections, one presidential candidate, Martha Karua, actually recently came out and said that she's taking a break from politics. That's what she said. She said she's taking a break from politics. She also said she's taking a break from being the Iron Lady. Yeah. She said she's also taking a break from being the Iron Lady. Yeah, that's what she said. And far from home, there was actually election going on in Vatican, There are elections going on in the Vatican. And the 1.2 million Catholics now have a new pope. The 1.2 Catholics now have a new pope. His name, Pope Francis Kimemia. I'm sorry. He's called Pope Francis nothing, Just Francis, like that. Just Pope Francis, that's it, yeah, I'm telling you. And the Pope was actually voted in after 3 rounds of election, 3 rounds of elections. That tells you one thing. Kenya had 1 election, so we are still better off. We can still afford to have 2 more elections, So we are still there. Oh, we are doing good. We are doing good. We are just number one. 2 more to go. I'm telling you. Yeah, we can afford it. Yeah, I'm telling you. Yes. Yeah. Oh boy. And talking of Kenyans, there was one Kenyan who participated in the election of the Pope. There was one Kenyan who participated in the election of the Pope. That's Cardinal John Dewey. And you know, being a typical Kenyan, after the Pope was elected, he moved to court to challenge the election of the Pope. You know, he had a petition. That was until he realized that unlike the Kenyan case, in the Vatican, right after the elections, the ballots are banned. You know, so he had no case. That's it. Yeah, he had to drop the case. I'm telling you, he had to drop the case. And in the election of the Pope, actually, a black smoke means there is no Pope yet. You know, that's what it means. There is no Pope yet. And a white smoke means there is a new Pope. Yeah, that's what it means. There is a new Pope. The situation is kind of different here in Kenya. In Kenya, a black smoke means Kibera is burning. That's what it means. Kibera is burning. But then a white smoke means tear gas is all over Nairobi. No, the hawkers are fighting the police. Yeah, that's what it means. I'm telling you, that's what it means. Yeah. That's it. And also in the news, President-elect Uhuru Kenyatta met the business community. He met the business community. And he promised to create a business-friendly environment. Yeah, that's what he promised to create. He also promised to introduce them personally to the Chinese. Yeah, one by one. I'm telling you, right. And right after meeting the business community, President-elect Uhuru Kenyatta met the landless community. You know, with their fancy name, they're called the squatters. Yeah, he met them. Their promise to them, he's going to give them Migingo. Yeah, that's what he said. I'm telling you, that's what he said. Yeah. Oh boy, what else? And in a related story, President-elect Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy visited the White House. Yeah, they visited the White House. And at the function, President Kibaki congratulated Uhuru for being voted in. You know, yeah, he was congratulated for being voted in. In response, Uhuru congratulated Kibaki for being voted out. That's how bad it is. He was congratulated for being voted out. Yeah, it got awkward, I'm telling you. Yeah, it got awkward. And during the visit, you know, during that visit, it really got interesting when Deputy President-elect William Ruto started crying at the White House. You know, he started crying at the State House. And you know what? It took the intervention of President Kibaki and his bodyguard to stop Ruto from crying. That's what it took. It took that to stop him from crying. And in his characteristic style, Kibaki was actually overheard telling Ruto, "Hapana, wacha, sio hapa, wachana, wacha kulia." Yeah, that's what it happened. Oh boy. And ever since US President Barack Obama wept in public a day before his election when he lost his grandmother, it has become so fashionable for men to cry in public, you know? It has become so fashionable for men to cry in public. It's so fashionable now, you know? It's so, I'm telling you, it's so fashionable now. Yeah, so fashionable. I'm talking about crying in public, you know, talking about crying in public. Did you guys see the footage of Ruto crying in church? Did you see that? Did you see that? Well, I don't know about you, but I think to most Kenyans, that wasn't crying. That's what we call wailing. You know, in Kenya we call that wailing, not crying. That's what we call it. Yeah, that's. Oh boy! And as a result of crying in public, you know, as a result of crying in public, women across the social media actually said that that display of emotion endeared Ruto to them. You know, that's what they said. They said it endeared him to them. You know, just a hint here for the guys. Next time you mess up with your woman, you mess up, just cry, or at least pretend to cry. And you know, the end result, you're gonna endear yourself to them, you know, and everything will be fine, I'm telling you. That's the... Oh boy, and just a caution here for the guys, you know, here's a caution. Please, whatever you do, don't ever try that one on a Nyeri woman. Please, don't do it. Because if you do it, you may end up crying real tears and lots of it, you know. And if things go bad, you may end up in hospital. So don't try it on a Nyeri woman. Please don't. Yeah, don't try it, please. And after the church service, Ruto was actually interviewed. And this is what he said. He said, and I quote, "I haven't cried like this in a long time. The last time I remember crying like this was when I was a young boy. And my mom is here to attest to it. You know, that's what he said, end of quote. Now, it actually turns out that it's true. Because right after that, his mom came out and attested. This is what she said. She said that Ruto haven't cried like that since he was a young boy. You know when that was? That was right after he was born. That's when he cried like that. Up to now. That's it, you know. Oh boy. Okay, and now that men have the liberty to cry in public, you know, it's okay now for men to cry in public. You know, lots of privileges are coming with that, you know. Men, right now, it's okay, you know, to wear a tight jeans. It's okay, you know, it's okay. It's also okay to cry at your wedding. That's okay, you know, that's okay. It's also okay to watch wedding show. That's okay, you know, that's okay now. It's also okay to drive around in a Vitz. I'm telling you, that's okay. After that, that's okay, I'm telling you. That's it, yeah, it's okay. But some advice here for men though. You know, although it's okay to cry in public now, please, whatever you do it, whatever you do it in the confines of the city, you know. Don't do it up country. Otherwise, if you do it in the up country, you risk end up looking like some weird guy from the city, you know. Some gay guy, you know. Don't do it in up country, please don't. Oh boy, and what else? Okay, well, President-elect Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy have been receiving daily intelligence briefing, you know. They've been receiving daily intelligence briefing. In one such briefings, they were actually briefed that the biggest threat to Kenyan economy is people spending too much time on Facebook. That's what they are told. They were told the biggest threat to Kenyan economy is people spending too much time on Facebook. Yeah, too much time on Facebook. Not good, not good. And talking of Facebook, folks, talking of Facebook, a recent study came out and said that people who use Facebook too much are most likely to be broke, fatter, and unhappy, you know. They're likely to be broke, fat, and unhappy. And you know, if you've been wondering why your friends have been behaving so weirdly of late, you have the answer right there, you know. It's Facebook. It's Facebook, yeah, Facebook. Oh boy. And don't you just love Facebook? Don't you just love Facebook? You know, Facebook is the only place which can get you hired and fired, you know. It's the only place that can get you hired and fired. Hired when you get a link job through Facebook, you know. When you got a job through a Facebook link. And fired when you get caught up Facebooking at work. That's how it does, you know. Balance, you know. Fire, hire. Fire, hire. I'm telling you. That's it. Oh boy, what else? Okay, in the news also, the opinion posters just came out from their hiding, you know, trying to explain why they were wrong on the predictions of the presidential election. They came out trying to explain why they were wrong on the prediction of the presidential election. And you know, do you remember those guys? Yeah, actually, if you don't remember them, those are the more scientific than thou guys, you know, who spin the numbers around, trying to figure out who is going to win the election, you know. They're the people who were trying to determine who or predict who was going to win the election. And if IEBC is to be believed, they were flat wrong, you know. They were flat wrong, I'm telling you, they were flat wrong. Yeah, they were flat. And in an attempt to explain why they were wrong, the pollsters actually came out and said it was, and I quote, the tyranny of lying voters, you know. They actually accused the voters of lying. And as another one also put it across, they said it was the tyranny of IEBC. Yeah, that was the explanation. Yes, that was the explanation. You know, and well, that was the explanation. But you know what I call it? This is what I call it. I call it the tyranny of sleeping on the job. That's what I call it. Tyranny of sleeping on the job. Or, I can also call it this. The tyranny of being too scientific and ignoring the facts of numbers on the ground. That's what I call it. That's what it is, I'm telling you. Man, and now that the elections are over, you know, now that the elections are over, the pollsters have embarked on a new mission, you know. They are almost jobless now, you know, but now they have embarked on a new mission. The mission to figure out how long a woman can stay in the same house with her in-law, you know. That's the mission. That's their new mission. Their first find, not that long. Yeah, not that long, I'm telling you, not that long. Oh, man, what else? Okay, according to IEBC, you know, according to IEBC, 87% of the registered voters voted in the just concluded election. Yeah, 87% voted. The remaining 13% said they were reserving their votes for the Tusker Project fame. That's what they say. Yeah, that's what they say. Oh, what else, boy? Okay, well, the Jubilee Coalition actually promised to create 1 million jobs a year. You know, that's what they said. They promised to create 1 million jobs a year. And true to their word, they are already doing it. You know, you don't have to look any further. Just look at the numbers of lawyers representing CORD and Jubilee at the Supreme Court, the petition. Just look at the number of lawyers. Those are jobs already created by Jubilee. I'm telling you, those are new jobs. I'm telling you, those are new jobs. And talking of petitions, you know, talking of petitions, the CORD Coalition have a petition challenging the election of President-elect Uhuru Kenyatta in court, at the Supreme Court, you know. They have a petition. And at the same time, the Jubilee have been served with the papers already. So they also have their case there, you know. That's what's happening in Supreme Court. Yeah, that's what's happening, you know. And have you been to the Supreme Court? I don't know, have you been there? I think if you've been there, you've seen this guy, you know, the statue, the guy who is always naked, you know, always peeing 24/7 at the Supreme Court, you know. That guy is actually the Kenyan version of the Vatican chimney, you know, where the smoke comes from after the election of the Pope. That's the Kenyan version of the chimney. Yeah, that's the Kenyan version. And actually, word has it that on the D-Day, you know, the day of the verdict at the Supreme Court, you know, when the guy the guy who's always peeing, when he pees red, that means Jubilee won the case, you know. That means Jubilee won the case. When he pees orange, it means CORD won the case, you know. And just in case there's a technical hitch, that means a big win for IEBC. A big win for IEBC, I'm telling you. And get this, you know. A word also adds it that if the guy decides, if the P turns to blue, you know what that means? That means VP Kalonzo Musyoka decided to go katikati yao. Yeah, that's what it means. He went katikati. That's what it means, I'm telling you. I tell you what, technology is failing us.
How is it failing us?
Just like IEBC. I sent a text message to my mistress, ended up in my wife's inbox. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is, yeah. I tell you what, technology is failing Kenyans.
How is it failing Kenyans?
Just like IEBC. My friend sent a love text message to her boyfriend, ended up in her father's inbox. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. I tell you what, technology is failing Kenyans.
How is it failing us?
Just like IEBC. In the middle of the math exam, my calculator died on me, you know? Calculator died on me. I ended up counting my fingers and my toes, you know, to get through. Manual, you know? That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. I tell you what, technology is failing us.
How is it failing us?
Just like IEBC. My phone all of a sudden decided to change its settings to Chinese, you know? To Chinese. Niliona msiku mrefu. I'm telling you, that's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. I tell you what, technology is failing Kenyans.
How is it failing Kenyans?
Just like IEBC. My phone all of a sudden is out dialing people, you know, calling people I'd rather not call. You know who those are? Yeah, people I owe money. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. I tell you what, technology is failing Kenyans.
How is it failing Kenyans?
Just like IEBC. My color TV all of a sudden is showing black and white. You know, that's how bad it is. That's how messed up we are. I'm telling you. I tell you what, technology is failing Kenyans.
How is it failing Kenyans?
Just like IEBC. My TV all of us broadcast all its channels, all its programs in French, you know, all of a sudden in French, everything in French. That's how bad it is. I'm telling you. I tell you what, technology is failing Kenyans.
How is it failing?
Just like IEBC. The other day I went to my ATM to check my balance. You know what came out? Pay your Okoa Jahazi debt. That's what came out. I'm telling you, we are messed up. We are messed up. Oh boy, okay, all right. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your time. And we hope it tickled you a little bit. That's what we had. And I hope you had fun. Thanks for watching again. And until next time, let's meet again. Have a good one.